Shalom, today is day 612 of the war in Israel, and it is June 9th. The newspapers are more about the battles of holding action of Hamas versus Shrika. Shrika is the burnout of the soldiers. And here in the image, we see the emergency room of the European hospital, which underneath hid Muhammad Sinwar, the brother of Yahya Sinwar. They both managed and commanded the 7th of October attack. That is where, in the tunnels underneath this hospital, is where Muhammad Sinwar was found dead together with other seniors of Hamas just a few days ago. We'll speak more about it when we open it up, but it says here, "Hamifgash im lochamei Sayeret Golani," the meeting with the Golani Patrol Brigade in the European hospital underneath Muhammad Sinwar was hiding. It teaches us about the high motivation that still remains within the soldiers that are fighting there. But in the IDF, they understand that the soldiers on the field, like the senior commanders, need more vacations at home. It's not right to bring the best people to the edge of their ability, even if they're the best of the best, says one commander in the Golani Brigade. In the cartoon, we see Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, giving some money, cash in suitcases to Abu Shabab, which is a militia against Hamas. These opinion articles are expressing that if it's true that the government of Israel has been funding the militias of the Gaza citizens who are against Hamas, it is wrong, because history has showed us that supporting the enemy of our enemy will not end well. So this is very confusing. Netanyahu said, "What's wrong with it? Ma ra b'zeh?" And the opinion articles here are analyzing that. Abu Shabab gets money, they buy weapons, they use it against Hamas. Supposedly it should work, but that's supposedly. The next main article, Mitoch minheret hamavet shel Muhammad Sinwar. Pictures from within the tunnel of death of Muhammad Sinwar. And the field reporter Yossi Yehoshua goes to Gaza. Here he is, and he's in the entrance of this huge tunnel that is hundreds of meters long. It's 7 meters deep. There are many openings of exits and entrances and many bedrooms. It's a humongous tunnel under the European hospital, and that is where Muhammad Sinwar and other seniors of Hamas commanded the 7th of October attack, we know, together with Yahya Sinwar, that was killed some time ago. And they were hiding there when they're surrounding themselves with Israeli hostages as human shields. So they've got the European hospital above them, they've got schools right above them as well, and they've got hostages surrounding them. The Israeli Air Force bombed all of the openings in a very precise way, all of the openings of the tunnel in a very precise way, without bombing or hurting in any way the hospital, the European hospital. And Sinwar, together with the other seniors, died from suffocation. No more air, no more oxygen. So again, in the field, they're the fighters of the Golani Brigade in cooperation with the Israeli Air Force and Israeli intelligence. Their motivation is high to continue to fight and to end the war only after the purpose of the war is fulfilled. But still, they're being worn out, and they need more vacations at home so they can come back fresh. Here in the image, we see inside the tunnel where Muhammad Sinwar and other seniors were hiding, and also where they took their last breaths. I'll highlight the last paragraph. It says, in the background, the Iranian threat is coming closer to a boiling point, and with a concern for the fate of the Israeli hostages, and the IDF, even though they have high motivation, they want to see the day after the war already happening yesterday. Here on the left, there's a small article about the new focus of Hezbollah. So Israel has been experiencing some peace and quiet with Hezbollah the last few months. So what is the new focus of Hezbollah? They're saying they are building unmanned aerial vehicles, a lot of them. The Israeli Air Force is trying to to explode them. Why is Hezbollah focusing on that? It's because it's cheaper, and the route between the cooperation with Iran has been severely hurt by Israel's actions. So the Hezbollah is not sleeping. They're working on building these unmanned aerial vehicles, and the Air Force is trying to get rid of them as much as possible. So there's a little game happening up there in Lebanon and Syria. Mechir hashchika, the price of burnout. In the image, we see the parents of Yoav Ravil that was killed on Friday together with 3 other soldiers. Here they are: Uri Honatan Cohen, Chen Gross, Tom Rotestein, and Yoav Ravil. And this article is about the price of burnout. They did everything in their ability to try to look for the explosive devices that were hidden in this building where they entered on Friday. But Hamas explosive device was on the 2nd floor. Hamas is sophisticated now. They know how the IDF is working. They're becoming more clever. They were able to activate the explosives device when the soldiers went up to the 2nd floor. So this is hard news. Last week, 8 IDF soldiers were killed, 4 of them on Friday. And this article is just showing us the price of burnout. There's mistakes. There's not enough people. Another fact, there wasn't any military dog that usually knows how to sense these explosive devices very, very well. There aren't enough dogs for each action, each operation. So that was missing too. Tom's mom says in pain, they identified him according to DNA. There was nothing to look at. They were exploded. Their bodies were completely demolished. So you find little pieces of bodies and you take it to the DNA lab, and that's how they recognized these soldiers that were killed. Is there any chance for the demolishing of Hamas? Yes, says a senior guy in the security forces in Israel. That can happen really fast, but our assumption is that it's going to take time. And again, as Hamas is getting sophisticated, there aren't any more, in this article they're explaining that there aren't any more really shooting engagements, face-to-face engagements. There's much less of snipers, Hamas snipers, but Hamas is using the leftovers, the duds of explosives that Israel shoots. They're using it to create new explosive devices. They're following the IDF movements, and they're very, very sophisticated and clever now. So the IDF took a position now and said, we will be very careful before we enter any building right now, only if it's really, really necessary. One of the moms says, we received a gift for 20 years. These soldiers are very young. They were hardworking soldiers, very, very young. I'm reading here that Tom was the commander of the other 3 soldiers. He loved them very much. All of his team, the unit was called Rotestein team. Rotestein was his last name. But no body is left, his mom said. He was just evaporated from the world. Also, he was tired, he was worn out, and he was waiting for his release date from the IDF service. He always told me, Mom, everything is good. In Hebrew, Ima, hakol tov. Everything is good. He never complained. So that is Tom. And again, Chen, Ori, and Yoav. May their memory be blessed. Before I reach the last article, I'm turning to the news that happened yesterday in Rishon LeZion, one of the Israeli well-known cities in Israel. It is an unusual incident where a 14-year-old boy gets severely injured when him and 2 of his friends, a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old, are playing with a pistol of one of the fathers. The father is out of the country. This pistol is held under license since the 1990s. In Israel, it is not easy to get licensed with pistols and guns like it is in the US, for example. So this pistol was supposedly licensed, and I don't know where it was kept, but the children get to it and they decide to try it out and to exercise. Maybe this is part of the environment of the war Israel is living in. הנערים התאמנו בירי. The youth, the guys, התאמנו. They were practicing in shooting, and their friend received a bullet in his chest. The 14-year-old is still under serious medical care, intensive medical care, as he's severely injured. In the beginning, the guys lied to the police and they said a car passed by us and shot a bullet, but very quickly they realized what happened. So the police is going to investigate, even though this pistol was licensed and legal. How was it stored, right? Because there are specific rules and laws how to store a pistol if you're out of the country or if you're not holding on to it. Very, very sad, and I do hope that this 14-year-old boy will be saved. Next week is the week of books in Israel. Shavua HaSefer, the week of book. They call it in Israel. Every year, Israel has this. It's towards the beginning of the summer, the end of the school year, and it encourages youth and people to buy books and read. So they're calling it Am HaSefer, the people of the book. That's the play on words, because the Jewish people are the people of the Bible, the people of the book. And I'm going to point out one interesting detail, that in the year 2024, 548 books were released specifically about October 7th. 37% of those books are about the influence of the war on the country and on the society. So there's a breakdown about the percentages of books and readers since the year 2024. I will point out that 25% of the Israelis are reading less since the beginning of the war. Maybe because they're more interested in the news. I am not sure why. 19% prefer academic books where you're learning from. I'm one of them. So this is all for today. Thank you for standing with us and praying with us. If you like this video, please send it to your friends and family, that they will be well informed of what Israelis are really reading and what is happening in Israel. I'm Rotem Magen, broadcasting from the hills near Jerusalem.